the today's topic. So the service, the progressive web app. So most of the people know what is in the progressive web app. So it's a kind of not another app. So we can install an existing one. So it will have a lot of things to go. It's actually as recommended by W3C, the World Wide Web Standards. So why progressive web app? First we can switch on. So most of the people we are using the mobile web app as well as the web. So we are using 87% of apps, and the mobile web percentage is very low, like a 13% only. So but the users mostly spend most of the times in not much more. It's nearly 3 to 4 apps only we are constantly using. The other will just stay in our phone as we use only occasionally, but the capability is higher in an app. So we can receive the notification, it can work on offline, it can much more interactive, speed. So there are a lot of things. The web is actually stay behind than the native app. So but the reach of web is actually 800x time more than the app. So if you want to search anything, you can just quickly grab to the web, some search on Google. So it's more fast and than the app. So we are using most of the time web. The reach is higher in the web. So the progressive web came into the picture to match this, like the capacity to most user interactive, most personalized app-like feeling. So then why the PWAs came in the pitch. For most of the reach, the PWA came. So using PWA, we can capture the user location, you can send the notification, you can have an app-like feel without any installing. So it's not based on a particular platform like OS, like Android, iOS, any kind of platform. Actually, the iOS also starts supporting the PWA. So what are the things we are getting from the progressive web app? So one is it's only not a device specific or OS specific, and it's fully of responsive and app like feel. So it's like work as an app, and we can have a contents like a fresh thing. So it will work as the native app works. So it will first cache our entire pages which you are visiting. So there are a lot of methodologies in the caching. So let me see in a couple of more slides. And reliable, fast, engaging. So we can install as an app. So we don't need to. We can just install as an app. So there are not much MB takes or any specific to device. It's actually based on the OS which we are using. The browser which we are using. It's not based on the which platform we are using, iOS, Android, any other things. And the most annoying thing we are facing in the web is once some network issue, we will face some a Chrome dinosaur or a 404 page. So when we are using the progressive web app, we can avoid that. So we can show the user somewhat relevant content than the 404 error or a dinosaur pages. So we can show them really they doesn't feel they are using an offline app or a web app, and it's pretty much fast. So once the content are cached, so it will serve from the caching. I'll show you. For quick demo, I'm just picking up an index.html. It's a simple one. Just you can see, just pick it up in lorem ipsum. So it doesn't have app, it doesn't have anything. So I'm just going to open. As of now, I'm just using some web server to start it. Here you can see a simple thing, not much more. I'm just clearing. Forgot about those things. Just clear it out. So just it's a simple lorem ipsum content, as you see. So there is nothing more than that. So I'm just going to do an offline. So I'm choosing the network. See the screen. I see only the mouse pointer. Oops. Are you able to see view the screen properly? Okay, thank you. Oops. Somewhat. Okay, I think you have missed a few slides. Okay, I think I'll just quickly go through the slides so one more time. So a progressive web app. So as I told, we are using less web application than the apps. So the user spends most of the time on the app, which is a very less amount of app. So but we are using the reach of web is more than when we compare to app. But the capability of app is much more than the web. So for progressive web app came in the pitch to increase to reach the height of native app. So then only it's come to vision of PWA. So that's what I'm telling as of now. So just quickly pitch into the demo. Here I opened a simple and quick HTML to start with. So there is nothing more than that than a small lorem ipsum. So gone to the, I'm open to open my page. Here you can see there is a simple lorem ipsum, nothing more than that. And I'm going to simply go to offline using a developer tool. Application, you can see there is no storage. It's basically we can see the cache storage of our browser. So there is no cache and there is no storage. I'm just going to put myself as my browser as this current tab as an offline. Yeah, offline. So you can see simply I'm just refreshing the page. You can see no internet, secure cables, some dinosaur. Okay, that's about. So what I'm going to do is first going to install the service worker. So first I need to check whether there is a I'm just again going to console and again not refresh. Going back to online console, just refreshing the page. You can see the service worker is registered. So what this means is it's actually nothing but much coding. It's actually I'm checking whether the browser is supported the service worker or not. So that's it. I'm going to check my navigator whether I can the service worker is registered or is your browser is not supported by the service worker. Actually, the service worker is a thing which can has the capability of cache our whatever we need. It's actually cache images, pages. That's a different mechanism. You can see it a quick ones. So this will make our post as a more engaging one. The service worker which make our pages more respond. Actually, this is the way the service worker works. It's a simple client-side JavaScript, so which will request to the web server, then cache it in the browser level. It's a simple web worker. That's it. It's not specific to any other OS. It's a simple based on only web. So what it do is, it's the life cycle of Service Worker. It first check whether the browser is having the Service Worker or not. So then install it, activate whether it can able to activate. If couldn't, it will show error, and it will stay in an ideal state, then terminate it. So this is the life cycle hook of Service Worker. I'll show one by one. So here I'm able to right now register the Service Worker. So team, as of now, any doubts? Or else you can continue.
No, it's good.
Thank you. So the Service Worker. So we can have this navigator at any level, but the sw.js must be in the root level, because the file have only the scope at its level only. So if you have kept the sw.js, the JS can be named as anyone, any name convention, but it must be at the root level if you want to have a full application scope of it. Example, if you put the Service Worker at any other folder, it doesn't have scope other than the folder. Example, if I put my Service Worker at the JS folder, it only cache. Example, I will show you. Just going to move it. Later I do it, because then only I can show you the different what it's really going to do. For a quick thing, I already have in code, so just going to copy paste it from here. So these are all the things which I'm going to cache. So what are the files I'm going to cache? So if you ask me a question whether we need to hardcode every other files, no, we can use the regex pattern to capture. For a demo, I'll just using some static things. You can use some regex pattern to capture, like .jpeg, dot what kind of MIME type. You can use that thing also. First I'm going to install the Service Worker. First I'm going to install the Service Worker. So I'll show you what happens then. You can see the application. Once I do that, you can see console. Service Worker is registered. Okay. The Service Worker is registered. Then I'm going to actually check what are the files in the cache name. We are keeping as a JSON pattern only, so it will check whether there is a file in the cache. If there is in the cache, it will check if there is any file is changed or any additional files added, or else it would return just simply a cache. It's just simply a cache storage. Going to activate it. So activate means it's going to add all the files at the cache storage. I'll show you. Here you can see the cache has been increased. Right now you can see the clear storage. In the Service Worker also you can see the Service Worker is registered and it's waiting to activate. Still it doesn't activate yet. So in cache storage you can see expanded my cache name Service Worker demo. You can see here Service Worker demo having the same name, Service Worker demo, and these are the files as of now cached. You can see. So service worker is registered, installed and cached. So let's check if what happens if I click offline. Just I'm clicking offline. Still I'm going to be able to see only this pic. So still it's in the state of only cache but not able to retrieve it. So the service worker is cached the pages, so but not able to pick it up from the cache. Going to refresh again. It's activated and running, and the file are still in the cache storage. What then I'm going to do? It's simply I'm going to fetch the content from the cache storage. I'm going to check whether my cache storage is having a name. You can see I'm going to fetch the content from my cache memory. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check whether the cache has my same name, and if it matches, then I'm just going to fetch my contents. Save the page. Just also I'm going to clear the storage. So you can see there is no cache as of now. When I refresh immediately, you can see the service worker cache all the pages which I mentioned there. The service worker is activated, storage store. So now I am going to click the offline one. There you can see right now you don't see any kind of some dinosaur or thing. So simply it's serving from cache. I'm switching back to the console. You can see it's kind of the error of my Chrome extension error. So leave it part. So you can see it's fetched from the network. So it's actually what I'm doing is I'm just going to ask for a request. So it will show hey you are on offline. So I just using my cache to serve the page. There you can have some scenarios. They might try to hit other different pages. Like if the page doesn't cache while the user trying to hit, so then I'm using a cache mechanism. I'm just catching the fail scenario. So example, so you can see which is not in the caching level. So while I'm using it, it's directly gone to the offline page. It's not at my cache. Now going to online, refresh it again, go to the page. What really happens is it doesn't check whether the pages exist or not in the request. It doesn't check whether the pages exist or not. It will directly show get the content from it just check the cache at first. It's actually the mechanism which I am uses catch first mechanism. Catch first. And there are few other things. I'll explain you. I think as of now any queries or is that fine? Or I'm going a little bit fast.
So this is always used for static contents, is it?
No. As I told, so you can use some regex pattern. because we already implemented a few e-commerce platforms. So as of now, it's working fine. Most of the people are using the service worker in the day-to-day thing. So I believe everyone uses the Flipkart Lite, isn't it? So it's a kind of a PW app, service worker. You can use a regex pattern here. I'll show you the another live content which I used, so that you can see how to cache dynamic contents.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so it is a thing where I'm just using as of now file to cache as a static one, but you can use a regex pattern for a dynamic cache. I'll show you. So before that, everybody had a few questions. Actually, I attended a training program at Google, so where I get in so much of questions. Then only I came to know after training. I'll work it out around a few months. Then I came to know because basically we have questions like if it's served from cache, so we can really have a difficulty in some scenarios where we need to fetch a fresh content only, not the old one. So yes, the service worker have the capability to maintain that mechanisms as of 4 types. One is a cache only, so it's best for a static page which doesn't going to update. Example, some terms and use which doesn't going to keep on changing. So there you can use the cache only thing. What does cache only thing is? It's just going to fetch contents only from the cache. It's not going to check whether it's updated or not. It's not going to check periodically. So it's just fetch a content from cache, and then it's only served from cache. It's only a best part for a static code, just a static code. Then it's a network only. So what is network only is, the first approach is it will directly check for the network. If there is no network, it doesn't show any content. So you can use some fallback method to redirect to any other pages, as I done. As I shown you that like welcome.html, so it's directly going to the some offline page. Like if you are using some payment pages or any other pages which you don't want to store in the cache, then you can use this thing, the network only method. Then cache falling back to the network. Actually, what is this? So it's offline first, then it will check network whether the file has updated or not, or any other new contents is there. It's most useful methodology in the cache one. So basically it will first serve the pages from the cache, then only it's going to request for a network and then update its content. So this is why the pages are really fast as the native app. Then the another thing is the network falling back to cache. Actually, you can see it's directly fetching. If it matches, then only it will return. So it will first check for a network. If there is no network only, it's going to serve from cache. It's a network first strategy. So the third one which we are using right now is the cache then network. First it will cache, then only it's then again it's going to network, then it's served from network immediately. So these are the way we can handle the service worker based upon our requirements and the pages. So we are showing how it can be handled as a dynamic content. You can be able to use it. Actually, I'm using is a library. It is for service workers. It's called as a workbox. There you can see I can cache my pattern. You can see it. I can cache my patterns. I'm going to register based on the patterns. Like example, I'm going to cache a JPEG, JPG, PNG file. What kind of entries I'm going to do? Like how many entries I'm going to cache. It's basically the e-commerce, the product listing page. You can have 50 products. So I don't want to cache entire thing. So I just want to cache a minimum of 10 images. So when user goes offline, I need to show only the 10, not entire page. So that is where we are getting in the pre-cache methodology, where we can maintain number of entries and maintain the max age. So it's a max age. So we can set it for 10 seconds, then it will check again for a network whether there is any update in the network or not. And here you can set, it's actually based on only images. We can separate the images cache as well as the file cache. I'm going to show you that. Stop the observe. So here you can see my pages are updated, clearing my cache. And the notification, this is where we pitching in the service worker. So it will send you the personalized notification. You can capture, you can see, you can send each and individual notification to you. I'm just opening my cache memory, cache storage. Traverse few pages. You can see the notification is enabled. Welcome to the commerce. Explore. We can capture. We are closing the notification. We are explore the notification. Whether they are escape the notification. If I click, I can go to some other pages. Like I can choose what page I am going to serve. So the cache storage, I'm opening the cache page. There you can see to capture the things in this mechanism I'm using. While traverse, it need to capture the page. So if, for example, I'm going to home page, then about. So then the 2 pages only captured, the other pages left blank. So it is a strategy. And images, you can see I'm only capturing only the 10 images. If I'm going to offline, it will show only the 10 images. But I show you, you can see the desktop images till the bottom. I'm going for offline. Refresh the page. Here you can see there is not much cache, as only few images are cached. You can see some banners and only the 10 images are cached, so other things remain the same. That's it from my side. Any other queries?
Hi Harish. Yeah, this is Gokul. Harish, can you explain a bit about cache evading techniques? Because when we cache our resources, we'll often fail to evade those caches. So that if we fail to evade the old caches, new resources will not be cached because of the disk space constraints. So, what is the usual famous cache evading techniques to evade the old caches?
Yeah, sure. So, as I told, there is a mechanism where you can see the this is only I usually prefer for a normal pages, like while I am from the most probably I am working on an e-commerce domain, so we are using the cache then network. So it will show the contents from cache, then immediately it will request the network to check whether there are any updates. So if there, then it will refresh the contents. So that is the mechanism we basically use. But there is some scenarios like the end user wants to show only the fresh content than the cached one. So they need to show some offer pages. They need to first get the pages from network, then only need to cache. So that is where we are pitching in network then cache. First it will show the check with the network. So if it's failed only, then we're going to serve from cache.
Okay. Say in case I have a HTML called page 1.
Okay.
I have been cached that HTML since a year ago.
Okay.
Now the HTML is not present in my server. I have removed that page.
Okay.
In my case, this page 1 has to be removed from the cache also, because it doesn't serve any purpose to the user. Is there any way I can automatically evade those pages stay like those pages caches since 6 months before the current date, something like that?
Yeah, you can set as I said. You can set the max age seconds. So how many times it need to cache. You can set the max age of entries in seconds. So then it will immediately fetch the network. It will actually check the network every request. So it will check the network. So then if the pages are not there, then it will immediately remove the page.
Okay, this is
from the cache
process, right?
Yeah, it's completely based on the service order.
Okay, thanks.
So as I told, we can set the max entries also. If I shown in the demo, you can see I just put a max entries as a 10 only, so it will cache the 10 images. Once the 11th or 12th images came, then the first 2 entry will automatically remove to reduce the cache storage. Because if you are using the e-commerce is basically thousands of products, so if we cache entire thing, then the user will also face the same problem, like they will first thing they will uninstall it if it's consume too much of memory. So then only we can set the max entries, so it will cache at the minimal level.
Yeah, sure.
Anything from you?
Hi, Sriram here. Just wanted to check if you have any thoughts around, or you had experience using some frameworks like Workbox or something. Yes.
Yeah, it's Workbox only.
This is Workbox.
Yeah, this is Workbox. It's for dynamic caching and to minimize our effort from our side. So this is Workbox. But this one. This demo is completely a Workbox one. And the page which I shown in the HTML is a static one. It's a static HTML. It's a plain service worker thing, which we need to handle everything, like what method going to do, how many entries, everything we need to do manually. But when it's coming to the Workbox, it will reduce our code. I'm showing you the Workbox. You can see. I'm just going to tell the Workbox, hey, I need to prefetch the file. So I'm going to first fetch the file from cache, then check the networks, so I can set the cache expirations, and I'm telling what are the URL patterns I'm going to cache. This need to be JPEG, JPG, PNG. I'm just using the strategy, some networks first strategy.
Any gotchas or any thing which people that are new to service workers should be aware of? Because from what I read, everyone is kind of scared about using service workers in their app.
Yeah, definitely. So in my example, I'm taking my company as a first one, because they didn't involve us. They didn't have a what is service worker, my C2O, every other people's mighty head. Actually, while I'm doing, the major problems which I'm faced is, as Gokul asked, if the page is gone, then what I do. So that is the one thing I got a question. So the second thing is, how does the scope of service worker works, because we need to install in the root of directory. So while going to some different frameworks, so it's very hard to cache from the root. So that is the another thing. So, and as a e-commerce, there are a lot of pages which is served from offers that not to be cached. So offers can change immediately. So for these are all the things we have faced. So then only I came to know there are multiple strategies to handle it, like network first, cache first, network cache. So these are all the things user must aware of. The most of the people doesn't using service worker because they feel what if I update the content if it serves still from cache. Example, I'm update my price, but still it's showing the old price. So that is the few things which our clients also is really afraid of. Then we will show an entire demo. We are showing the prices, capture the prices and the description from the network first strategy. So I'm using this the exact strategy to exact content, then would definitely avoid a little fear of service worker. The another thing is the scope of service worker. Just thanks for pointing out. So example, I am just moving my service worker file to the JS, inside the JS.
No.
Then I'm going to cache. Yeah, okay.
Hi Harish, this is Abhinav.
Okay.
Is there any problem with bloating that Flutter or Android Studio compared to Android Studio Flutter that PWAs will have?
No.
Is there any issues with bloating?
No. So the Flutter and the Androids are completely, it's a good, but what we are trying to do is to have the capability of web to have the capacity of sending notification. You can see the web doesn't have the capacity of sending notification. They won't serve as an offline one. So they won't serve as the caching mechanism. The thing is they can't able to install it. So if I could, here you can see it is one of our demo only. So I'm going to install it as an app. You can see I'm going to just install. So what will happen is you can see just installed as an app, but it's served from the browser. There is no URL, there is no thing. You can see I have my separate icon.
Right.
You can see just I can search from app.
Yeah.
I can lock it to my launcher, so it's actually work as a native app. So that is the idea. The idea behind is make sure the web has the capacity of all the apps. So I can launch it from here. So from now onwards, I cannot wait for a browser to launch. There is no URL. So it's likely open as an app thing. So that is the main thing here. So it doesn't mean we are going to have some Google Play Store going to install nothing. So if you want to use as a web browser, you can use. If you want to have the capacity as a native app, we can have it. So that is the thing.
Right.
It's also have a splash screen setup. So like as a Android app does. So
right.
Same thing, everything.
Okay. Oh, that's.
That's it. Just one sec. Quick thing. I'm going to show the scope of the thing. How the scope of service worker works. So here you can see I'm just using my service worker. It doesn't. I'm going to clear all my cache as of now. Here you can see I'm opening my cache. It doesn't going to cache any other thing because the scope of service worker is limited to only its root. So here I'm moving my service worker to the JS folder, so it doesn't cache all these files because it's have only view from its current folder, current directory, which is have. So it's an important point to note it down, because the service worker only have scope from the root directory. If you are adding a files here from a particular folder structure, then you have a view from there only, not to the below like child level. Their siblings doesn't have siblings or a parent doesn't have a scope of that. That's it from my side, team.